What's up, otakus? SuperOtaku here. As you know, I've changed my channel name. It's not a big change, just I went from Otaku Tour Guide to now SuperOtaku. And yeah, I feel good about the name change. I hope it's not terribly confusing. Most of you that watch my channel understand maybe the reasoning why I changed it to SuperOtaku. I'm just an otaku of Superman, so it makes sense that I would incorporate the character into my ethos, into my identity somehow. But we are here to read a comic book. I haven't read a comic book for 2 weeks, or a couple weeks maybe. So my apologies for those of you who were hoping to have some reading time with me, but we're going to get to it now. Before I get to it, I have a quick update. I did send my books out this morning to Roger, and so the books are in transit, and we'll hop on once he gets the books, and he's gonna walk through his process on how to improve. And it's those sessions that I really enjoy, because I learn a lot. I learn a lot from, because it's one thing to kind of like look at my books and think, I do this or do that, but I don't really have any knowledge or experience with cleaning and pressing. Hey, what's up, Ron? Yeah, I mean, they said it's going to get there Monday. I was like, it's going to take a week to get to Florida, I guess, by USPS snail mail. But the guy was kind of like, it's going to arrive Monday, but it could arrive sooner. Like, he was giving me hope, like it could get there sooner. Either way, I know Roger has bandwidth to work on the books next week anyway, so I guess it works out. Hopefully it gets there a little sooner so we can do a little prep show and talk about the books before he starts working on them. But it should be a fun video, and hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Right? Yeah, no, it makes sense. They'll probably stop in like Colorado, and then go up to like Pennsylvania, then down to like Florida, the way those things spark. But hopefully it gets there sooner than later. All right, we're here to read Action Comics 688 today. Action Comics 688. And this is where it starts to kind of get more into the we've been introduced to all the new Superman characters, and now we're getting into how they kind of coalesce and engage with each other. So it gets interesting from here. Let me just share my screen here. We'll get started. All right, there we go. Action Comics 688. Guy Gardner chooses sides. Why isn't this working here? There we go. An eye for an eye. What the bleep is this? News time. Superman alive? A fine thing. I go off planet for a few days, and I come back to find that everybody's lost their marbles. It was bad enough before I left. People were claiming that they'd run into Superman at the mini mart, or that they were his long lost cousin or bookie or something. Real supermarket tabloid junk. Not that the legit press is much better, but this rag has actual photographs of these new super jerks. I don't believe it. Now, who's been rifling through the girly magazines? In the News Times? I can't turn my back for a second. 4 of them. The next thing you know, they'll be starting a Superman Corps. Are the new Superman the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse? Really, I don't know why I read these articles. Ooh, Cher has a new tattoo. What was that? Sounded like something fell. If anybody could cheat death, it'd be Superman. But how could people accept these new goofs as, hey, Ringman, how about paying for that? You talking to me? Yeah, I'm talking to you, Mr. Superhero. This is not a library. If you want to read the magazine, buy it first. No thanks. You can keep it. What? Hey. You creep. I'm glad the Green Lanterns fired you. I hate it when babes turn into smart mouths. What's this world coming to? Nothing makes sense anymore. So much for my Windy City holiday. Nuts. I was really looking forward to catching a Cubs game. Maybe some other time, Chicago. I got business back east. Gotta try and make sense of this Superman business. I never had much use for the super guy. And I sure didn't like the way Ice used to back him up. Superman is right, guy. You have no right to argue with him. But that was before Doomsday trashed the Justice League like we were a junior high scrub team. That monster made all of us look like amateurs. All of us except Superman. He did what no one else could do. He brought down Doomsday and saved the world. And all it cost him was his life. Well, you rest easy, Big Blue. No flashy fake is going to get away with calling himself Superman. Not while Guy Gardner still has a power ring to his name. Tisk, tisk. You'd think such a well place would spring for a better security system. No ultrasonics, no heat sensors, no electric eyes. And this is the main branch. It's almost insulting. That alarm box was so old, I bet it was installed during the Truman administration. I was bypassing circuits like that before my voice changed. They might as well have left the door unlocked. I almost feel like leaving a thank you note. Nah, that would be cruel. I'm cutting a hole where the safe is thin. And when my hand goes wandering, tumblers fell into a place like soldiers in a row. Yes, you're all mine now. Time to make that big withdrawal. Sorry, business hours are 9 to 4. Gah! No, not you. You're the one they talked about on Channel 7. The one who killed the ski mask murderer. I've dealt with a number of transgressors. What I did to them was meant as a warning. Too bad you didn't pay better attention. Now I'll have to make an example of you as well. Hey, wait a second. I'm not like that. I mean, the creep who attacked that woman, sure, he deserved to die, but I'm just a burglar. I'm nonviolent. I don't carry a gun. I've never hurt anyone in my life. You wouldn't kill a guy just for cracking a safe, would you? There are many forms of violence. You may not have caused physical harm, but your crimes have hurt many people. Please don't kill me. I won't, but I will make certain that you don't try this again. What are you? No, not that, not. Ah, my hands. Poor man. I've never seen anything like it in this lane. Every bone from his fingertips to his elbow was broken, almost crushed in some cases. Any worse, we'd have had to amputate. He'll be in rehab for a few months before he's even able to hold a cup again. And he claims that Superman did this to him? My hands. He said little else. I could almost believe him, Miss Lane. His arms bore deep bruises. They formed hand they formed handprints. Doctor, at least 4 superpowered beings have recently claimed to be the late Superman. Could I ask your patient some questions? You could try, Miss Lane, but we've had to give him a lot of morphine for the pain. Just keep it short. He needs to rest. Mr. Fane, this Superman who attacked you, what did he look like? Was there anything unusual about him? The sunglasses. He wore sunglasses, big ones like a visor. A visor. Oh, dear God. That would be the Superman I tracked to Riverside Park the other day, the one who knew about Clark. But that cyborg I met knew too, or seemed to. I wish I could believe that Clark's really alive. All I can be sure of is that his body is missing again. And from what my sources say, this time the Cadmus Project isn't to blame. I just don't know what to think now. Each of the 3 Supermen I've run into so far seemed a little like Clark. Maybe I should call Lana Lang. I need to talk to someone who would understand. You look like you could use this. Cat? Thanks. What are you doing here? Interviewing the head of psychiatry for a new GBS special. The network thinks little Catherine Jane Grant is ready for prime time. How about you? Interviewing a sedated safecracker who had his anatomy rearranged by one of the new supermen. Sounds painful. It looked painful too. It's also weird, Cat. These pretenders rescue people. They stop crimes. They do so many things right. But in other ways, they're so different from Superman. They're cold or cruel. Yeah, Tana Steelhand thought he was tough. The bad guys always do. But nobody's too tough for this Superman. Or they're young egomaniacs with raging hormones. Hey, Metropolis, if you got a problem, I'm your man, believe it. Thank you, Superman. For GBS News, I'm Tana Moon. All right, Ron. Let's keep it going here. Tana looks a little too good on the tube. I wouldn't pass that Vinny Edge to be grooming her for as my replacement. I think I'd better keep an eye on her. All these Supermen, the one with the visor claimed that Clark was gone. The only Superman, meaning himself, was left. But for all I know, he could have stolen Clark's body. Maybe they all did. Professor Hamilton was convinced by the cyborg's claims. But what if these pretenders are all in this together? I need a super detective to unravel this one. A detective? Supergirl told me that she thought the Batman knew about Superman's dual identity. Maybe he could help me find Clark? Clark? Please stop. Beg pardon. Were you speaking to me, ma'am? Oh, no. I'm sorry, terribly sorry. I thought you were someone else, a friend of mine. Well, not to worry. These mistakes happen all the time. Good luck in finding your friend. Thanks. Get a grip, Lois, or you'll be seeing Clark everywhere. I just want him to be alive so much. Antarctica. I feel exhilarated. Lives have been saved. Evil has been punished. But now the people must know that they again have a Superman on whom they can depend. It has been a good beginning. In spite of my encounter with Lois, that was troubling. I felt a disturbing emptiness upon leaving her. Echoes, no doubt, of experiences from my previous life. I must not let such events deter me. There is too much yet to be done. Thank the Creator I can retire to this fine fortress and plan my next move. Units, attend me. Yes, sir, as you wish. Pardon, sir, do you wish to change? Not as yet, Unit 3. What is the status of the new monitor array? Online and receiving, sir. Hey, Metropolis, if you got a problem, I'm your man, believe it. What in Krypton's name is this? Your new monitor array, sir. I can see that. I was referring to the scenes being broadcast. Who are these others that they dare wear the emblem of Superman? Their origins are unknown to us, sir. They are a motley group, a boy who can almost be a younger version of myself from the looks of him, a cyborg, and an armored man or a robot, perhaps. Unit 12, continue monitoring and compile all available data on these pretenders. I would know more, but for now I must go and bask in the energies of the regeneration matrix. What does all this mean? Who are these false supermen? If there is villainy in their motives, more power. I must draw more power from the matrix if I am to endure. Sir, you have been working very hard and you have not been long revived. It would be counterproductive to overexert yourself so soon. You should rest. Perhaps you're right, Unit 3. Yes, I must conserve myself for the challenges that lie ahead. 7:57 a.m., Metropolis City Hall. Captain Sawyer is here, sir. Good, send her in. You want to see me, Commissioner? Morning, Captain. Have a seat. I appreciate you coming at this hour. No big deal, Inspector. I'd just gotten in from a stakeout when I got the call. What's going on here, Henderson? Where's Commissioner Casey? Jack Casey resigned last night. Oh no, I knew he'd been under pressure. Yeah, with Superman gone, every citizens group in the 6 boroughs was on his back over the recent crime wave. Well, it's not his problem anymore. The mayor's named me as new police commissioner. Wow, congratulations. Thanks, but given the heat I'll be taking, condolences might be more in order. Maggie, I know there's been some friction between the two of us over your command of the Special Crimes Unit. Maybe even some hard feelings. Never on my part, Commissioner. To tell the truth, I've always wondered exactly what the problem was. Was it because of my gender or my sexual orientation? Neither one. Don't be ridiculous. It's just always stuck in my craw that as high profile an outfit as the SCU was, headed by a captain, you wouldn't care if you were male, female, or neuter. But I have inspectors working for you reporting to someone whom technically they outrank. I see. Guess I can't blame you for that. In the early days of the unit, I was a little uncomfortable about that myself. But Inspector Turpin finally put me at ease. He never seemed to mind about my rank. Mind? The way I hear it, Dan Turpin thinks you walk on water. Not that he's alone. Every last one of your officers would go through fire for you. That says a lot about a leader. This captain thing, maybe I shouldn't let it bother me, but I still don't like exceptions to the chain of command, and now I have the power to do something about it. Something that should have been done a long time ago, Inspector Sawyer. That's a very generous solution. It's long overdue, Maggie. You've built the SCU into a model that's being copied all across the country. I have a new news conference scheduled for tomorrow. We'll make all of this official then. But for right now, we have a lot of craziness on our plate and a lot of contingencies to plan for. Ever since Superman's body disappeared, the cultists who worship him have been attracting more and more followers. I know, and there's already been a schism within the original group. If the body isn't found soon, things could turn ugly. Tell me about it. And as if that weren't enough, we have to decide what to do about all these blasted supermen. 1047, the far north side. Something peculiar down there. That old gas station has been abandoned for years from the looks of it. So why is there a row of motorcycles parked behind it? They're all high-performance bikes in good condition. What goes on? I will have to wait. There's a big fire, a big one. Over on the waterfront. Must be an arson job. The whole place is ablaze. No, it was ablaze. These flames are going out of their own accord. There are no signs of that a fire was ever here. This was all some sort of an illusion. Nice work, Sherlock. What was your first clue? Who's there? Show yourself. My pleasure, super jerk. The name's Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner. And this power ring makes me a one-man Superman revenge squad. Yeah, who needs bleeping Green Lantern Corps of the Justice League? Just set him up. An old guy can knock him down, no problem. Okay, Super Shades, you want some more, huh? Shades. I knocked him right into the harbor. Suppose I'd better fish 4 eyes out of the drink before he drowns on me. Once I wring him out and hang him up to dry for the Metro cops, I can go after the other frauds. This will be 1 down and 3 to go. Funny, there's no sign of him. Nah, more likely my ring drove him right down into the muck. Jeesh, that was some punch. If I had my ring were up, I would have taken it would have taken my head clean off. For a fraud, he packs a lot of power. Superman could have hit me that hard, maybe, but he never did. Heck, even Lobo never hit me that hard. Gardner, I've had enough of you. Block. Yow. Whoa, this sucker's tough. The rest of this world may have to put up with you, but Superman does not, and I will not. Got a short fuse, too. This could get interesting, but I can't let him keep me on the defensive. You talk a good fight, Shades, but I bet that this shining knight can pin you to the wall. Hey, you lose. Bad move, guy. Real bad. Halfway across Metropolis. I guarantee these babies are just what you need. 7mm, fully automatic with a 30-round magazine. So do we have a deal? I don't know, man. We could meet the price, but the Sharks have been packing Toastmasters. Those cannons, overrated and hard to conceal. Trust me, the Assault 7 can handle any surprise situation. Holy jeez. Kroom. What was that? It almost looked human, but it tore through the wall like a rocket. Right on target. Ow. Now, before you force me to cause any further damage, I want answers. Why the setup? Why did you attack me? Bleep, it's a couple of super cops, and they trashed our bikes. Waste them. Watch your back, stupid. They're still fools. They're still are fools using guns in my city. Afraid so, Ace. What are you going to do about it? Teach them a lesson. We can't be missing. I'm not at this range. Holy crud. It's one of those new Supermen. Which one? The real one. What? Drop them. Those guns, drop them. My A7. Do as he says. Pretty neat trick. The dude has convictions, I'll give him that. Stay where you are. Class isn't over yet. Hey, what are you? Be serious about this. Stop, don't. We give up. Whoa, that had to hurt. Aye. But I love it. Way to go, Teach. You sure know how to get your point across. Gardner, I'm not convinced that you have gotten the point. Now, then, where were we? Hey, take it easy. Look, you've got every right to be mad, but hear me out, okay? I'm sorry I bushwhacked you, but I just had to know. Know what? Know if you were really Superman. And let me tell you, from what I just saw, you're sure as heck the Superman I want to have around. I don't believe this. No lie, Blue. I thought we'd seen the last of you after Doomsday. It's good to have you back, kicking butt. You really did a number on those creeps. I never knew you had it in you. I mean, you never used to be so, I don't know, aggressive. Were you holding back all those years? Holding back? Perhaps. I've been through many changes. Yeah, I guess dying and coming back would make you see things differently. Hey, lucky thing I came crashing in on those heads, huh? Luck had nothing to do with it. I noticed something suspicious about this place earlier. You mean you threw me over here deliberately? That was brilliant. You are definitely the man. This sure makes things easier now. I only have 3 phonies to chase down. Gardner, I don't want you chasing down anyone or anything in my city. Do I make myself clear? Oh, sure, I get you. You want to nail those fakes yourself, right? Sorry, Soups. I can be a real cement head sometimes. Indeed. Oh, and Gardner, the name is Superman, not Soups. Whatever you say, big guy. Just keep up the good work. I'll square things here with the cops. Responding to a call from Guy Gardner of the Justice League, Metro Police last night arrested a Baker Line gang allegedly involved in a drugs for weapons swap. Gardner, a former Green Lantern, refused credit for the bust, saying that Superman, the real one, did the job. It was Superman, all right. Big guy, cape, S on his chest, gold shades. He was like a maniac. He nearly killed some of the guys. City officials are reportedly disturbed over the violent actions of this masked Superman, who is one of four. Excuse me, I've just received word that the new Commissioner of Police, William Henderson, is about to make a statement. We now go live to City Hall. Citizens react with outrage, and rightly so, when their police use excessive force. The brutality of this self-proclaimed Superman is no less than an affront to public decency. I have today instructed Inspector Margaret Sawyer of the Special Crimes Unit to give the highest priority to stopping this reign of terror. Inspector, we will not tolerate vigilante justice in Metropolis. I knew the real Superman, and he would never have resorted to the reckless mayhem that is being practiced in his name. Hey, all I can say is, if the man I met wasn't the real Superman, then he ought to be. So he got tough with a bunch of creeps. So what? It's not like they didn't have it coming. Okay, maybe he lost his temper a little. Besides, after all, he's true. He's entitled. Cementhead doesn't begin to do him justice. The purest osmium isn't as dense. It could be unfortunate that he has made himself my greatest public admirer. Sir, do you wish to change? What? Oh, you mean? Yes, I believe I shall. The shield has long stood for justice. If too many claim it, misuse it, what will it stand for then? Until this moment, my actions felt absolutely right, but I did let my anger at Gardner get the better of me. I took it out on those less capable of defending themselves, and now Gardner cheers me on. That alone is reason to reflect, to question what I have done. Perhaps there is a better way. For Superman walked the earth, but who is the hero true? The astounding answer begins to unfold in the very next issue of Action Comics. It's super history in the making. All right. Gonna just get my camera on here. Hope you enjoyed it, Ron. That was a good one. I feel like a nice little Guy Gardner battle to warm us up. I do not have that particular issue in my collection. I continuously run across it, so I'm hopefully I'm going to pick it up at some point. But right now, it's like still figuring out exactly what we're needing to target moving forward. And I don't know if the Death and Reign are necessarily high priority books at this point. I do want to complete that run, but we'll see. I think we need more clarity on where the collection is going before we do it. Glad you liked it, Ron. What I'm showing off here is part of the Big B trade. I got these trade paperbacks, and these are reprints of the Golden Age. There's more than 3 volumes, but I have the first 3 volumes of this Golden Age set. And so what this is essentially, it's a paperback edition of the reprints of the Golden Age books. So you got Super Action Comics 1. You got some of the early Superman. I think Superman 1 is in here too. Yeah, Superman 1 is in here. Let's see. I just want to see the cover of Superman 1. No. Is that it? That's Superman 2. Superman 1 should be here somewhere. This is it. That's Superman 1. So I haven't gotten around to reading these yet, but I definitely want to start. I wish my camera would get in focus here. Gotta get a new camera. There we go. Yeah, just starting to read these, I figure this is a great opportunity because I have them all it's really easy to read these now. These are my books. They're not library books. I don't have to rush the reading or experience. But part of the reason I want to read this and the reason I want to get into this is because I plan to write my own Superman comic book. As you know, Superman's going to enter the public domain. That means anyone and all of us can now use Superman as a source for creativity. We can write our own Superman stories, publish them, and do whatever we want with the character, essentially. I'm sure DC will continue to put out Superman books, and a lot of people will look at as that is the official canon. But yeah, soon all of us will have access to Superman. So I'm kind of doing my research just by reading these books. I have a very strong sense of who the character is already. I've read many of these Golden Age stories. And really, I think I this is the way I look at it. The Golden Age stories are nice. It does set a foundation, but I think Superman's true. A lot of his character and world building happened in the Silver Age, and so as great as the Golden Age is, I think the Silver Age is what really elevates the character to the heights, because it's where we get introduced to so many legacy characters. Golden Age is kind of reserved to that foundation of Lex Luthor and the Daily Planet staff. He's fighting gangsters most of the time, like mob bosses and gangsters. Not really, with someone who's like invulnerable, it's not really much of a challenge at the end of the day. But yeah, you see his vulnerability to kryptonite, his enemies like Lex Luthor, Brainiac, Parasite, or some other villains. We run into Bizarro. Bizarro's a big one. Mxyzptlk in the Silver Age. He's kind of Golden Age, but he really takes form and shape in the Silver Age. And the Silver Age just sets the tone for like sort of the peak years of Superman. If you and then of course the movie happens, and I feel like the modern stories. We're talking the post-crisis Superman also add a lot of depth to the character, especially here what we're reading with the death of Superman. We're introduced to like the regeneration matrix, Kryptonian technology. Um, you know, we've really been given a more I guess fictional world, like a more believable fictional world of how the legions and the future of like Superman's future plays out in the modern books. Whereas before, it was kind of like it was just a lot of convenience writing, things happening in the future, happening in the past. No real sense of continuity there, but definitely in the modern books, you have this very intentional, this is what, there's this future, there's these set of characters, and they have a connection with Superman of the past. I think they did that brilliantly in the modern books. And anyway, they've really built a nice, DC's really done a nice job of modernizing what was essentially the Silver Age, right? They took all the elements from all the ages, they modernized it, they created this really sort of compelling universe of characters, villains, and heroes. And yeah, it's really fantastic if you think about just the evolution of that 80-year legacy. It's a hard thing to try and keep vivid and fresh. And so for me, I'm kind of trying to draw upon all of it, but I do want the golden age to be that this is the true foundation of the character. So I want to definitely research, get a sense of how I can adapt this character, this 20th century character, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the early 20th century. Just he's first off, my Superman, we're gonna it really revolves around who Clark is versus who Kal-El is, right? There's a sort of a dichotomy, and I think being Korean American, a person who has parents of an ethnic minority in this country, and then having also to adapt to watching them adapt to America. Like for me, I didn't have to adapt, but I had to adapt to how people respond to me, because there are those who would view me as like, hey, you're a foreigner, even though I'm a U.S. citizen. A lot of people just, in fact, I was at the post office today. This lady gave me this look like I was some kind of Chinese national or something. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that is, I'm just imprinting that upon her. But she gave me this weird look. I thought was just unwarranted. And it's just those like little things that it's like, they just, it's just not a look of acceptance. Let's just put it that way. So having to straddle that, just those two identities, my parents, my ethnic heritage, along with my American heritage here, my American identity, it's challenging. Definitely, think Americans of minority status have to deal with that because here we're not that I feel like people view me as an outsider or anything. I don't want to go that far, but there definitely are like times where you know inclusion is not a given, right? So certain circles, yeah, like I feel welcome, but there are other circles where I don't. And when I go to Korea, I feel less of that. But definitely, once you start talking to people and they know, oh, well, he's from America, there's a switch there as well. They don't see you as Korean. They have a separate word for Korean Americans. They're called Kyopos. And Kyopo can have a very kind of negative connotation in South Korea. So it's not always good to be labeled as a foreign Korean. Like it literally means like a Korean who's like a foreign or raised in a foreign land. I don't know if that's the exact translation, but that's the gist. And so, yeah, I think writing a Superman story would be fun because I'd bring my own experiences as an immigrant, um, having to, you know, um, kind of juggle those identities and come to a conclusion. Like, I'm always asked the question, hey, if the US and Korea went to war, who would you fight for? And I feel like that's an unfair question, first and foremost. But, I definitely, it challenges you. And I think that's kind of where, not that Superman would ever, he's always been for his adoptive uh, planet, right? He's always been for Earth. Specifically, he's always been for America. And not that he's America first, but he's American. And then he's kind of with that worldview as an American, he's also a protector of the globe, right? And that's kind of where I land too. I'm just like, at the end of the day, I'm glad America and Korea are allies first and foremost. But if, for example, like North Korea, right? North Korea and U.S. aren't allies. There's no way that I would align myself with the North Korean regime, given what they stand for and given who I am. So it's, yeah, I think there's your answer right there. Like, America's definitely my home country, and I would fight for America, like my dad did um, when he was in the armed forces. Um, but that's not to say, right now, like with the current war situation, that I feel like the U.S. is justified with what it's doing, but at the same time, I support our troops, even though I may not support the policies around the politics around the war right now. But um, again, that's something I think hopefully the president will figure out and find a way to sort of clean up the mess that he's created. He's created quite a mess right now um, for that region. It hasn't impacted us here at home quite yet, except for higher gas prices. I figure that's it's a minor cost to bear. Just drive less for a while. But that entire region right now is in upheaval, and we obviously want to see the fighting end and the end to the destruction of life. And yeah, I'm gonna ask ourselves, what would Superman do in this situation? Definitely would not let things escalate to this point. So, what's up, Tyler? How you doing, man? So yeah, I'm gonna write hopefully a nice, compelling Superman story, and again, backbone being the golden age. It's really gonna draw from my concept of the character. My concept of the character um, is sort of an amalgam of gold and silver, bronze. It's still that classic kind of view of the character, just like the Superman movie. There's no, there's sort of an Americana, classic Americana uh, that's what I want to make. I want to ensure that classic Americana image of the character is maintained. Like, and I think that would just make for such a good story too, right? Like what would it, what, what would unfold if you had a very traditional kind of 20th century values, sort of an analog version of Superman living in a very digital world, um, where information, where data, I mean, Superman, as fast as he is, can he process data faster than AI? That's a good question. Superman can read books at super speed, so he can accumulate a great wealth of knowledge because he can super read books if he wanted to. And he has the intelligence to absorb all that information. But that's not one of his primary like superpowers, right? So it's like, would he lose to AI in a battle of processing information and knowledge and intelligence, right? Because he can be pretty dumb in the comic books. He can be pretty rather like no, Clark Kent's smart, but like sometimes when Superman pops out, it's like, where did Clark go? It's like this bonehead's just trying to keep up with Batman or something. That's not happening, right? We don't like that narrative. Superman's always been smarter than Batman. But yeah, those kinds of things. So it's always a fun thing to do. So I'm going to do more reading of this after I pop off with you guys. And we've got, again, the books are on their way to Roger, so we've got that coming up. I guess the last thing I want to kind of show off is, or not show off, but just show you, is I told you I've been working on this project here. So I'm just coding kind of like a website. It hasn't been published. There's no back end. It's just HTML, CSS coding. I've got this really nice template. The template is called PhotoSen. So I've just been kind of taking the template and revamping it to reflect my collection. So I like how these tiles work here. We get the golden, silver, bronze, copper, modern, Then I got my signature books, got my artists, got Superman, and then sort of iconic covers, artwork, whatever you want to put. So they all kind of overlap. There's some copper and signature stuff. They overlap. Of course, everything is an artist, right? So a lot of the artist stuff overlaps. If we go to artists, this takes us to sort of 9 of my top favorite artists here. We got Neil Adams, Jim Lee, John Byrne, Brian Boland, Michael Turner, Kurt Swan, George Perez, Alex Ross, and Ross Andrew. Going with that 9. And if we go to Jim Lee, these are all works in progress here. Let's see, I've created a Jim Lee section here. So it's a nest within nests. It's like you have to go to artists. You can go directly here. Like I have the, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna just build this out. For example, the Copper Age. I put it a little different twist. I don't go straight Batman. I'm do Crusade, Cape Crusader, right? Justice, Light, Lanterns Light, Teen Titans, Bullet, the Bullet logo for DC, Mine, make mine Marvel. So these are Marvel, Fantastic Four, Web, X. These hopefully are self-explanatory there. So these have yet to be built out though. Just kind of got into the cover page there. But yeah, this is kind of like my Jim Lee page here. And these are all just cover galleries here. Just kind of, we go through it. Whoops. Just goes through that. If I hover, it goes into color. Beautiful foil. Love this Wonder Woman cover there. Beautiful copy right there. My X-Men Jim Lee 90s signature collection. Stan Lee. This is just a fun thing I built, and I really I'm having fun building this out because it takes a lot of work. First off, you got to take individual photos of all your books and transfer them to the computer, and then kind of build out the code for it to read the photo from your computer. So it's a lot of work, but I'm having fun building it out actually, because it's like actually this sort of digital space for my collection. And I don't have to dig out books or anything, and just kind of just go onto my computer and look at covers at least, And these can obviously be links to things later if we want, like maybe internal, like I could launch a digital copy of the comic book here and read it if I want. That's something we could look into connecting and doing. Don't know how to code that, but I'm sure there's some kind of script that I could use. Or at least open. I guess I'd have to, this is where I'd need the back end to kind of upload the files and do all that. But that's probably way down the line then, because I don't have any plans to start, subscribing to like a web service or web server. Maybe I'll do my own. That's a lot more work. I'm not really confident on doing that as of yet, but that's something we need to work on and build towards. Yeah, but yeah, this is kind of had real fun building this one out. So from time to time, I'll just be sharing the progress I'm making on this. Jim Lee, I've got a lot of Jim Lee books, so this is just kind of in the building stages. Neil Adams as well. I've taken a lot of the photos for Neil Adams books, and so I've kind of finished it, but there's still more to build out. But as you can see, like, kind of ends here on the Neil section. But yeah, there's a lot more Neil stuff I have that we need to transfer. I just love the way these older books pop with color. You know, it's just really nice. I love this effect, actually. It's just a really cool, from black and white to color. It's a really nice effect there. I've started on Action Comics as well. And I've just, again, upload all the Action Comics issues I have, which is about 160 Action Comics issues. And I have another, I want to say 60 to 80 copies of Superman. So about 240 Superman issues. That's not including like family stuff, which is Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Supergirl, and all those adjacent type titles like Adventure Comics, Superboy, those things. So, I mean, there's quite a bit of Superman to upload, and so I'm kind of trying to do that as well. A lot of photos we need to take. So yeah, just a lot of stuff to kind of work on. Got some Copper Age stuff here. What do we got going here in the Copper Age? Guess not much. Nothing in Copper Age yet. Bronze, nothing. Silver, a little bit built out here. But more to add there as well, so. All right, well, that's all for, yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Tyler. So, no plans to move immediately, but the exit plan, so the exit plan would require us to sell the house. And so for us to be able to sell the house, we need to do a lot of work on there's just things we need to fix up. And you know, the fixing up part, we're just, you know, dragging our feet on it, to be honest. But yeah, we need to kind of redo some closets, fix up all the little nicks and stuff. So we're trying to get a contractor, sort of just a fixer-upper guy who can come in. We're not trying to remodel anything, but we're just trying to have a guy come in and just fix up all the little things that, you know, just give him kind of a loose budget on the problem areas and have him quote us what it would cost for him to do that. So and hopefully that's, so obviously we're not going after any kind of big name, you know, contract, like we're going after some maybe some people with good experience, maybe trying to build a business for themselves, but really needing work, right? People that kind of need to do something, spends time doing something. So we're hoping to get some good referrals. Our real estate agent has a guy. He's apparently though like quite booked, so we're just waiting to talk to him, and we'll go from there. So that's kind of where we're at that stage. So it's gonna at least be a year. This process is gonna at least be a year because we need to fix everything up. Then we need to put the home up for sale, and once it sells, then yeah, that'll really accelerate things. But it's gonna take some time. So we're doing it step by step, and so the update is no real update. It's just like we're kind of in limbo right now. And I think we've kind of backed off the urgency to, it's a big decision, right? If we're going to move and do kind of end ties here in the US, because it's such a big move. We want to really we want it to be like, okay, yeah, no, this feels right. And right now it's like we're kind of waffling. Like we do feel like living here has advantages, especially for raising our son. We also feel like economically living in Japan would be more advantageous, but no matter where we go, it's not going to be like easy street, since we're going to be financially struggling somewhere, but financially struggling less in Japan than here. And yeah, that's kind of where we are with that. Yeah, right. I feel like it's a good record to keep. Like, for example, if I, not that I want to get rid of any of these books, but for like, where's a good example here? I don't think there's any books here that I want to get rid of necessarily. Yeah, nothing on this list yet, but there are books in my collection that are kind of on the chopping block. And obviously, yeah, putting it into this library as like, I used to have this book. It just remind me of the good times. I guess. I don't know, maybe seeing it will just make me want to get it back into the collection someday. I don't know, but there are definitely books though that I just offloaded a bunch of books, and I don't feel reminiscent about those books. I do feel like I'm in kind of the mindset of like, I'd rather have like a smaller, really meaningful collection versus just a lot of books, right? I do love collecting books from my era, but books from my era, they're not the most valuable things. And it's definitely more nostalgia than like actual collectability there. So that's always like I have that's me as a collector. I just feel like me as a collector having these like high priced first appearances and all that. That's never who I was as a collector. But I do see like the value in being that kind of collector, right? Because at the end of the day, you've got a very very valuable collection in the eyes of many. But I would never give up this book, for example. This is just like this is somebody's dollar book, but this is for me. This 90 signed book here. This is like one of the top books in my collection, right? It's just one of those things. Like this is why we collect. It's just who we are, and I that's why we are as collectors. It's like our collection is like a fingerprint. It defines kind of who we are, what we focus our time and energy collecting is what defines us as a collector, right? Okay. Yeah, I gotta agree with you, Ron. The Golden Age books are hard to read a little bit, because they're so it's so in the early style, right? It's just the writing is like comic strip style, and it's it's cheesy. It's really cheesy, a lot of it's just Superman taking a lot of bullets, just knocking a lot of heads. Um, it's to a modern reader, it really is kind of um, it's not compelling. I agree. Yeah, and apparently they've released strategic reserves, and I think they're probably buying American oil as we speak, right? Um, Everybody's buying American oil now. America just released a bunch of strategic reserves, and they're, I think, just continuing to produce. But the U.S. produces a lot of. They're not producing as much oil. They're producing a lot of like um, like the shale. They're producing a lot of the shale and natural gas type stuff. So it's not quite what you'd use for the grid. It's more like I think the shale gas. I mean, it can run um, furnaces for the electrical grid, I guess. But you're just going to be using it's more costly than just like refined petroleum, right? So I don't know if it's more costly. It's anyway. It's just I don't know how the U.S. I mean, the U.S. consumes a lot of oil too. It's like the U.S. can't just rely on its domestic production. It's always offset domestic production with imports. So I don't know if the U.S. has bandwidth to even export any of its oil. So I'd say this we're just creating this really. I guess people just need to conserve energy. I got to jump off YouTube and stop using the grid here. We're gonna do like World War II style blackouts. Just black out and save some energy here. Yeah, yeah, I think the Silver Age, I agree with you, Ron. Silver Age stories did get much, much better. But at the same time, that Silver Age Silver Age stories are kind of dated as well. It just got too, it got kind of just sappy and kids oriented, which isn't bad, you know. Just got too kind of like Leave It to Beaver style, 50s kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's very clean, like a clean cut um, primetime television type storylines. Um, it got gritty and serious a little bit in the Silver Age, but not you know. And then the Bronze Age, yeah, you got kind of more of that, but it kind of kept the Silver Age style, so it just always felt kind of hokey. Yeah, Superman didn't really start getting good until like the 90s, I feel like what we just read. I feel like that's a really good tone for the modern Superman, so it works. Modern Superman really works. Um, but yeah, I'm still in kind of this transitionary phase where we want to downsize a collection. I would really like to just get it down to like under 1,000 books. That's being really ambitious, but I kind of need to just kind of start cutting the tie. Like this, I have this very strong like affinity toward certain books in my collection, and I need to just like re-examine why that is. Um, Case in point, like let me just pull something out. This book. John Byrne, She-Hulk #1, newsstand copy. And I just love, I have this irrational love of She-Hulk. It's not like I was like buying this at the time it was coming out. I maybe read, a couple issues from the run, just, I think I had maybe two or three issues of She-Hulk in my collection during this run. But the issues I had were really great. They were written by Byrne, illustrated by Byrne. Really a funny kind of just a lighthearted, fun comic book to read. Um, and yeah, it's like this is just she makes the threat. If you don't buy my book this time, I'm gonna come to your house and rip up like X-Men. It's like it felt like it was targeted at like because I love X-Men. I just felt like this Byrne doesn't get enough credit. Byrne really needs to get more credit for his what he's done in the comic book during his comic book years because what he did for Superman, what he did on She-Hulk, obviously the X-Men. He's got the Fantastic Four legacy there. I mean, he's done a lot in comic books, and I just feel like he doesn't get the proper due that's due a like a creator of his magnitude. So I'm just yeah. Uh, so yeah, this will probably stay in my collection, but it's like, why do I love this book? It's like I don't have an affinity for She-Hulk. I do have an affinity for Byrne. I do have affinity for this era, so maybe that's good enough. But also he didn't do the best cover work on this. Is um like the body line is kind of, the proportions are off. I don't know if he did that intentionally or what, but it's like you wouldn't see the body kind of collapse in that way, I guess. I don't know, maybe if you're super ripped it would, but um yeah, so this will stay in my collection. And it's I have too many instances of that. You know what I mean? If I have to justify keeping that book, then I'm really creating creating too large of a net for myself. So would I take that book over like a real key Superman book from the Silver Age, maybe in higher grade? Probably not, right? I think I want to keep the Superman book. But this was what makes it difficult. Like, I don't know, I see someone like Ron, and you've got a lot of books, and I'm just like wanted to just have a be at a place where I can like just collect everything and not have to worry about keeping it to a certain manageable kind of size. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's good to have this kind of conversation with myself about what my collecting goals are, because I know from the get-go it wasn't to collect everything. Never was about that. Um, and even my Jim Lee collection, I feel like got like 400 Jim Lee books, and that's a well that will never dry up, because like the stuff he's putting out now, some of the variant covers, it's like, oh, I want that, and just doesn't make sense to kind of like go after stuff like that. So so I don't know. Yeah, we just kind of put a stop to Jim Lee buying. Um, and we're kind of trying to focus more on older books. So, um, and then again, I love signature books too. I love like collecting signatures. So maybe that's potentially just kind of try to key in on books that are signature worthy, right? Like what would be a good book? Not any book is worthy of a signature, right? Um, that She-Hulk book would be signature worthy for John Byrne to sign, right? something like that, right? But like She-Hulk 24, that might not be a good signature book. So just kind of like, I don't know. It's a hard calculus to figure out, and I don't think there's an easy answer, because oftentimes this is just as simple as like, "Ooh, I like that. I want it in my collection." Right? When you're able to do that, that's like true. When you're truly, you know, kind of is a feeling of um, you have power over your collection, right? Like you just have, in any situation or any circumstance, you can kind of pick up stuff and store it away, stow it away. Um, that's a nice place to be as a collector, to be honest. It's like kind of the ideal state. But I think, yeah, maybe I'm at the point where I got to get rid of more stuff if I want to add stuff. And so right now I'm kind of like fine with adding stuff, but I got to, you know, give away more stuff before adding it, or get rid of more stuff before adding it. So I think trades are the way I've been trading recently has been really good. Um, I've been really happy, like 200 books for 50. Um, and none of those 200 books, I look back on those books now, I'm just like, I don't really have like a strong tie or connection to those books. And I just really love the stuff I've recently picked up. So I feel like I just doing more of that will probably be good moving forward. So that's where our focus is. And of course, right now we've got 6 books with Roger. When those come back really nice and, clean and pressed and looking fabulous, those will definitely be core collection books as well. So who was it? Trying to remember, black superhero character, issue 1. Was it from Marvel? Yeah, Marvel, you said. There was a Storm. I want to say there was a Storm solo series, wasn't there? Like all the X-Men got their solo stories back in the 90s. Was it the Black Widow? Oh, okay. I thought black female meant black race. So the race wasn't Storm. Okay. I mean, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys have some great collections, by the way. And I'm just wondering, what you just have a room you keep it in, or I mean, you probably have a bigger house than I do, but do you just store it in the garage or somewhere? What do you guys do about when the collection gets a little too, when it's too big for its britches? What do you guys do? I'm kind of, for me, I definitely feel like, for me, the collection is going to, once we kind of figure this out, it's going to be like the 500 books that I do eventually kind of I shouldn't say 500, like the 1,000 books I eventually do kind of land on. And even a lot of the books that I have, for example, the Wildcats run, as much as I love that run, I don't know if I want to keep, right? It just maybe having the number one issue, love number 11, um, some of the key covers in that issue would be just fine. So I think a lot of it is going to be downsizing the Jim Lee collection, unfortunately, because the Jim Lee, it takes a big chunk of the collection, 400 books. And I'm just wondering, why do I have Alpha Flight like, you know, why do I have Alpha Flight like 59 in my collection? Just because Jim Lee worked on it? There just needs to be something more. Because if I can't have all the Jim Lee books, then what's the point of trying to collect all this early stuff? So I feel like that's I haven't crossed that bridge yet. I haven't started, actively eliminating Jim Lee from my collection. But I figure that's once I cross that bridge, once I make that mental, like I don't need the Jim Lee books. I don't need 400 Jim Lee books in my collection. I can that'll be a great place to purge. The problem is I need to find somebody who is into Jim Lee and is willing to absorb all that to get value out of it. I do want value for it. I just don't want to like give it away. So okay. So the hall closet, how many boxes do you have in there? So you have quite a bit in there, sounds like. Oh, they're just stacked. Okay. Well, I mean, 8 long boxes, a lot too. It's a lot of books. 3 short boxes. So yeah, you got a lot. I mean, if you've got the space for it, seems like it's manageable, even though it's, a lot of books. It's not like crazy. There are people who have like a garage full of, we were just talking about Rob's, Rob's collection, but, I just never, I can't imagine being in a situation like that ever. Um, I don't think I'd want to be, I don't think I'd want to deal with anything bigger than, like, ideally for me, I think 5 to 10,000 books would be a good, like, ideally, like, if we were going to grow a collection, 10,000 books would be the limit. But that's huge. That's a huge collection. That's like a comic book shop right there, to be honest. If you have 10,000 books, that's like you have license to open a comic book shop with 10,000 books. But yeah, that's a lot of collecting there. Of trades, okay. Okay, so you collect a lot of trades and 12 long boxes. That's a big collection as well. 12 long boxes of trades. Holy moly. Oh my goodness. That was so it's half of what it used to be. My goodness. So this is what I'm talking about. It's like if you have to start renting like store a storage unit to, to house your collection. I think it's time to re-examine the collection there. Oh jeez. So Ron, you're being serious right now. They're building a small office. All right. Well, good luck with that. Yeah, I think when obviously we bought the house, and when you're thinking about, oh, someday I'm going to own a house, and it's going to have like 6, 7 rooms. I'm going to have my own little game room. I'm going to have like a comic book hobby room. It's stacked full of books and boxes. Uh, I definitely had that notion as I was picking stuff up over the years. Um, but now that I actually have the house, and we don't have extra rooms. It's literally like just a few rooms. Um, it's Space is tight, and so yeah, this is about as big as I can let it get. If it gets any bigger than what I have in my filing cabinet versus here to here. As you can see, it's like stacked up. I got stuff stacked all the way up there. Um, None of that is really that valuable or anything. It's just stuff I've acquired over the years. A lot of garbage. Um, but like these are pretty thick books here. I'm gonna enjoy doing a slow read of these. These are just they're fun stories for me. I don't find they're cheesy as all heck, but it's history. It's history, and it's the character. These are all cool things. Look at this. Superman's tips for super health. It's like do a bunch of like handstands on gymnastic bars. Like that's something most people can do, right? It's like get out there and do gymnast stuff. Stay outdoors as much as possible. That's a great tip. Get sufficient rest and plenty of fresh air. But above all, consume vitamin-rich food. So, Superman's giving better advice than our health secretary. Exercise regularly, plenty of fresh air, vitamin-rich food, stay outdoors as much as possible. Come on. That is fantastic advice for super health. Keeping our kids healthy there. Yeah, I just eventually want to get around to reading this stuff to you guys, so we'll get there. So it's going to be a slow burn, but we'll get there. But yeah, looking forward to that. We'll read some golden stuff at some point. Yeah, again, Rob, I can see how you could. It's a slippery slope, right? Because who doesn't want to add this incredible, like if someone came to you and just said, "Hey, I want to offload 30 long boxes or 100 long boxes to you, would you say no? No, you'd be like, please, like, here, use my bedroom. Just put all the boxes here in my bedroom. Um, and then you dig through it and find all the gold and whatnot. And then, yeah, you'd have to. I, I don't know if you want to keep all of it. You'd probably try to sell it, but at some point, you'd probably be like, once you go through and dig all the stuff you want to probably free up some space as well at the end of the day. So I just, yeah, I think space has to play a part in your collecting goals. Like you need to, if you're going to collect, let's say, an entire run of something, whether it's Action Comics, which is 1,000 issues, 1,000+ issues, right? You gotta have a space for 1,000 and be disciplined to just collect Action Comics and nothing else. But if you kind of want to do Action Conan and like even like we all fall down that trap, like I want to do this, and then you collect it, and then you I want to do this, and then you start collecting, and now you're haven't completed anything. You just have random issues of certain things. I'm fine with that. I don't have to. I'm not a completionist. I don't want to complete runs, but it's like there's a lot of that happening in my collection right now. It's like I got kind of fell down a burn, Fantastic Four run hole, rabbit hole that I didn't climb out of. I've kind of given up on. I I'm kind of at that point with Jim Lee now. It's like, where does this stop? And you gotta like, I was like, I'm gonna do 300 books. It got to 300. I'm gonna do 400 books. Got to 400. Now, like, I'm close to 500 Jim Lee books now, and it's like, at what point is like, you got to kind of cut the cord there. It's like, say that's enough, and I'm fine with just maybe the top 100 books that I think are worthy. Just kind of whittle it down to that. I know, just for the action series, right? It's crazy. I know. I feel you, Ron. Right, Conan. Conan's another big, huge run. Like people don't realize, like even though it's from the 70s, it's a huge run because you've got like the Savage Sword, you got King Conan, you just got all these adjacent Conan books, and that's another run that's kind of difficult to, because I believe Conan was also like, it was heavily printed, but not to the point where it was like it's readily available. Like you have to kind of hunt for older Conan stuff. So it's like Bronze Age Conan, I feels like it's like gold. It's like a gold mine waiting to like burst. Um, because it's like not really plentiful. It's not really super rare, but you've got a lot of people who collect it. So it's kind of like you're kind of in that space of like probably should be valued higher. At 162. Yeah, I do need to get that. Right. This is the talking about the Hush run, right? Oh, that's good. Wow. And then that paid for the collection, huh? Yeah, I feel like gold is the Conans are going to be gold at some point. I feel like Conan's it's had a few kind of spikes in popularity here, and I just I don't know a collector that doesn't like Conan. Like everybody loves Conan because of like just the just the raw kind of violence that was in the book, right? It just came out full force. Like this is it's about a barbarian, this like savagery, and Conan wasn't the savage one. He was the one fighting against the savages, but he was a savage fighting against the savages. He was a more civilized savage fighting against the savages. So um, it's just a great concept for a book. Yeah, and the savage swords have a lot of, you know what I mean? It's like it's got the stuff guys like, you got a lot of kind of soft porn action going on there, along with some cool artwork. It's like stuff guys like. So that was definitely it's black and white, so it's another. It's like seeing stuff in black and white is just has a very artistic feel to the book. So right, yeah, yeah. Again, it's a rabbit hole I do not want to fall down, but I feel like if you collect it and or have it in your collection, that's a good investment right there. I feel like that's today's kids. I don't know if they're into Conan, but I don't see why they wouldn't be into Conan. It's like today's kids that probably enjoy that kind of stuff as much as we did back in the day. I think right now that Conan's getting some movie hype. Like Arnold's coming back. They're doing King Conan or something. What's going on there, Ron? Give us the 411. Is Schwarzenegger really going to come back as senior, as geriatric Conan? Right? Geriatric Conan, right? We don't want, I mean, I hope they don't do that. Just have another Conan in there. Like Jason Momoa was pretty nice as Conan. I didn't watch the movie, but he kind of fits the Conan mold, right? Um, but yeah, you get a bunch of people to play Conan. Just get some rip dude. I don't know why they don't recruit more bodybuilders to Hollywood. I know they've got a bunch of ex wrestlers like The Rock and John Cena, Dave Batista. Those guys are great, and like Dave Batista's Conan would be freaking. I mean, he's old now, obviously. You wouldn't want Dave Batista, but a guy like that, like a wrestler or somebody like that, doing Conan would be freaking hype. Screw your freedoms. Are they okay? I haven't read some of the current stuff. I'm sure it's good though. Arnold. I guess that would be fitting with Arnold's last role was Conan. Wasn't that his first movie too? No, The Terminator. No, what was his first movie? His first movie was like Pumping Iron, which is a documentary. And then like his first he did a couple really like B movies, I think. But I guess his first real role was Terminator, then came Conan, right? Am I getting them in the right order? Gotta do the research on this one. Oh, so Conan did come out before Terminator. Yeah. So Conan was, it'd be fitting to have Conan be his first and last movie, right? I gotta say, like, Conan's gotta be his first real blockbuster movie. Yeah. What was Arnold's first movie? I'm typing this up right now. So I'm looking at Arnold's filmography here. So he did a movie called Hercules in New York, which I think was the documentary stuff. Oh no, no, it was sorry, he played Hercules. He did Long Goodbye, Stay Hungry, Pumping Iron in 77, which was the documentary. Yeah, and he did something called The Villain Scavenger Hunt, but it wasn't until Conan the Barbarian. It was his first real movie role. So it'd be fitting to go out. It'd be fitting to go out in the role that kind of made you famous. Man, he did a lot of movies. Look at this filmography here. Whew. It's crazy. He did a lot of good movies too. I mean, look at this. Predator, Terminators, Twins, Kindergarten Cop. True Lies was not good. I recently watched that. True Lies was pretty bad. I really enjoyed Total Recall. That was a great movie. Love that movie. More recently, yeah, he's I don't know. I figure they bring him back, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Or but it just would be again, he's old. It's not like he's be like coming out in a walker. Yeah, so Conan again, Arnold was great in Conan. That was a yeah. Um who else is in that? It's the voice of Darth Vader, what's his name? He's in that movie too. I'm drawing a blank on the actor's name right now. You guys are gonna help me. But yeah, it was a good movie. I I didn't see it. I didn't see it when it originally came out. But I saw it at my friend's house on VHS. I want to say like 1984-ish, 1985-ish. Back when like Arnold Schwarzenegger was the man. We all watched Terminator, and yeah, those were just great times. It was like ninjas were big. We're all into ninjas. We're watching like Rambo, Terminator, just a great slate of films from that era, action films. You had Rambo 2 come out, and then you had Predator. Just a bunch of great films from like the 84 to 85, 86 time frame. Right? So yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis was the best part of True Lies. I gotta agree with you, Ron. That dancing, the bed dancing scene, that's like the best part of the movie, to be honest. It's like it gets to that point and then it gets really cheesy after that. So James Earl Jones, thank you, Ron. James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones is a legendary actor, and he played the baddie in Conan. Did a great job playing. And he gets, yeah, he beats a very unkind end in that movie. So kind of traumatic for a kid to watch stuff like that. that's what happened back in the 80s. I know you guys are a little older than I am, but sure you had your share of gory movies from the 70s or 60s. Right. Yeah, he's great in The Sandlot. He's got a one of a kind voice, man. The voice that launched 1,000 starships. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. It's fun reading the comic books. We'll be back here on Friday for Otaku Weekly. We'll have some updates, I guess. Hopefully, Roger gets the books so we can hop on with him. So that should be coming soon. And we'll do another reading. I forget what are we reading next week. Let's take a look here. We'll be reading. We read Action. We read. What did we read? No, we didn't read this one. That is coming. We read 688 today. So we're going to be reading Man of Steel 23. Superman 79 is coming up. World's Finest 9. That's coming up. I don't think we need to read these, like these one-shot ones. We'll go with Man of Steel, Superman, and then Adventures. Those are the books that are coming up. So this will be our issue for next week. I'll give you a little preview here. What's going on? Didn't load right. There we go. We got Steel versus Superboy coming up. There we go. It's a little preview. What to expect. See you, Tyler. I know. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. You know, I get the sentiment though. I get the sentiment, like, where are the allies? You know, like, here we are, we're the US doing this. We're taking part in a war. It's like, if you're our allies, you would support us during this time. But it's like nobody's helping us. It's like it's just us and Israel. And to be expected, you know, it's like it's not like we went to anybody and said, hey, you know, this is what we're gonna do. So you guys are on board with this, right? No, it's like we went it alone and now we want help. So it's just a mess, man. It's just a mess. Yeah. I'm just, it's not working out for us right now. So I hope hope someone intervenes. I hope an adult in the room intervenes and says, hey, enough is enough. Let's, you know, we've already unfortunately lost some 12 service people, some American civilians as well, which is nothing compared to, like, you know, some of the Lebanese and Iranian casualties. But, you know, it's like, I feel like these servicemen and women, there's one that, there's a pilot here from Covington, Washington, which is about almost an hour and a half north of where I am. Pilot from Covington, Washington was part of the crew that went down in Iran. This was the plane that got shot down, or I don't know if it got shot down, but it crashed in Iran. And I just feel like didn't need to happen, right? Like, that's just something that didn't need to happen. Whether it was an accident or if it was shot down by enemy fire, it's just like, just the stuff like that is just really hard to. Their families are grieving right now, and it just feels. I mean, what do you say? What do you say to that family? You know, like, there's just no words to describe the pain they're going through. So. Yeah, it's tough. All right, Ron, well, get some rest. Hopefully this thing will be over sooner than later. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out.